Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this meditation on the Psalm for Sunday. I'm Pastor John Ferry. I'm the pastor at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Fayetteville, New York. And this Sunday's Psalm, the Psalm for August 30th, is Psalm 26, a part of Psalm 26. We'll consider the whole Psalm tonight. So let's take a look at the Psalm stanza by stanza and then try to understand what it might have to say to us this week. Judge me, Lord, because I walk in integrity. In the Lord I trust. I will not waver. Test me and try me, O Lord. Prove my conscience and my heart. For your loyalty is before my eyes, and I walk always in your faithfulness. The key word in this psalm is going to prove to be integrity. Integrity in Hebrew comes from a root that is about wholeness, completion, honesty, innocence, guilelessness. It's pretty close to our English word for integrity. Um, Dependability, maybe. Here, this word begins the psalm and it ends the psalm. And it might surprise us a little because here's someone who comes before God and says, God, there's no doubt that I'm a whole and complete and honest person without guile, and I do what you expect me to do, God. That's who I am. It's not a confession of sin. It's someone who's very much aware that they are in line with what God expects them to be. It almost sounds like Job, who in the book of Job says, "Look at me. I've done nothing to deserve the kinds of suffering that I've experienced." Now, sometimes I think we can feel that way. What did I do that I deserve this? But in this case, this psalm it has a somewhat different focus because this person is a priest who's speaking this psalm. And what they're talking about is their readiness and their willingness to serve in the temple at the altar. So let's then take a look at the next couple of stanzas. This person is saying, "Test me and try me, O Lord. Prove my conscience, because I do what I should do to keep myself pure for service in the temple. I do not sit with deceivers, nor go about with hypocrites. I hate the fellowship of evildoers, and with the wicked I will not stay. I wash my hands in innocence and circle your altar, O Lord, to make heard the sound of thanksgiving and to tell your wonderful deeds." So in the first stanza comes the moral dimension of what this person, how this person lives, and again, this might make us a little bit uncomfortable since we are followers of Jesus who hung out with the hypocrites and the deceivers and the sinners and the evildoers. This person says, I avoid them. I stay away from them. But it's not as completely about self-righteousness as it might sound. It was important for a priest who was going to serve at the altar to avoid those who did not obey the law because there was no way to know what they might have been in contact with, whether they had blood on their hands, whether they had been involved in violence or some kind of ritual impurity, and that would make the priest impure and therefore not able to serve at the altar. But here in the second stanza, we hear the priest performing the priest's duties. I wash my hands in innocence. In the temple, there was a huge bronze ritual bath originally on a stand of 12 oxen facing the four different directions, all made of bronze. And priests were required to wash both their hands and their feet before serving. So here the priest washes his hands in innocence and then circles around the altar. in a procession, uh, and speaks the words of thanksgiving, perhaps leads the hymn, and tells of God's wonderful deeds, the whole history of God with God's people, perhaps in some kind of worship service. So this is why the priest keeps himself uh, so pure, and tries to maintain his integrity, his wholeness, his ritual purity, his ritual wholeness, because he loves doing this. He wants to do it. Here we see that very phrase in the next couple of stanzas. O Lord, I love the temple where you dwell, the place where your glory lives. Do not include me with sinners or my life with the bloody-minded, who hold on to scandal, who are always ready to take a bribe. Two things going on, I think. One is this expression, which I think is almost the heart of the psalm. I love your temple. I love the place where you dwell. This may have something special to say to all of us at this time when we can't be in our building, and oftentimes for good reasons and bad reasons, the church building means a great deal to us. It connects us. It reminds us of the presence of God. You know, there's a candle that burns in the sanctuary all the time, and that's where we celebrate together. We hear the word. We come to the sacraments, and when we can't be in that building, something feels like it's missing. I think the main thing that's missing is everybody who's in that building. That's what we really miss. But the building itself, the temple, if you want to put it that way, although we don't think of it as a place where God lives, we certainly think of it as having a special symbolic value. And then this second stanza, do not include me with sinners, that is a judgment stanza. The priest is saying that I don't want to be with the violent. I don't want to be counted with them. I don't want to be part of that world. They hold on to scandal. They're always ready to take a bribe. This is the world outside the sanctuary, as it were, and it is the world that we live in day by day. We live in that world outside the sanctuary. And it is for us to always be like the song says. It says, Lord, make me a sanctuary, um, uh, uh, pure and holy, tried and true. It is for us to bring the sanctuary into that world, even when we can't be in our own sanctuary. As for me, the psalm concludes, as for me, I will continue in my integrity. Redeem me. Be gracious to me. My foot stands on a level place. In the congregation, I will bless the Lord. This is a wonderful ending. I will continue in my integrity, yes, but notice the psalmist still relies on God for grace and for redemption. Redeem me, be gracious to me, save me from what happens to me, or save me from how much I am involved in that world that I have to go out into. Save me from the times when I fail. Save me from the times when my integrity perhaps is not as spotless as I would like it to remain. And then the psalm concludes, my foot stands on a level place. You can almost imagine the priest standing in the vast courtyard of the temple, paved with stone, and surrounded by a throng of people, the congregation, where the priest says, in the congregation, I will bless the Lord. Uh, I hope that it won't be too long before we can all be together again as a congregation where we can once again together bless the Lord. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, being with me tonight as we read the psalm together. I hope you will find something in the words of this psalm that uplift you and that help you to look at your own life in the light of God's word. God bless. And if you want to remain with me, you'll hear the psalm tone for this psalm for the Genevan Psalter, from the Genevan Psalter.